Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers. And for all my viewers who've been watching me, especially since my 2016 days, do you remember when I always said, if the black woman is God, then she must be Asura? Let me go ahead and revise that right now on air and say, if the black woman is God, she gotta be Kali, which is another Hindu god, but she's a Hindu god of destruction, change, and time. Now, for all those dudes, including myself, who always said things like, oh man, why do all these black women attract these thugs, vice versa? And you've noticed that there's a lot of dudes in single parent households who end up being about that life, and they start gang banging, and they still live in a single parent household and they're mama's boys. Well, it all goes back to the Hindu goddess Kali. Now there's a term out there in Sanskrit known as Thugge or Thugge, ancient Sanskrit word. And these are individuals who were bandits. They were bandits who took things from people, they robbed, pillaged, the whole 9 yards in the Indian region. But obviously that started to translate and transfer to other parts of societies. And now these people were considered the children of Kali, which is this melanated Hindu goddess that you see here, stomping on the ground of a man. And in case you haven't noticed, a lot of these simps out here, they get trampled over women on a day-to-day basis. Men who are completely removed from dignity. And then, if on another note, if we want to look at things from a spiritual/magical place, we could even think about all this symbology that transpires in the hip-hop realm, which that energy transfers, that energy with people who venerate the likes of Kali or venerate women as a whole and call the black woman God. And you know, they just constantly prop these women up. They put them on a pedestal all damn day long in these rap videos. Drake is a culprit. Drake is like the poster child for simps. And Drake spending most of his time with his Canadian Jewish mother, his Canadian white Jew mom, and his whole catalog and discography just has simp written or ghost written all over it. But it don't just end with guys like Aubrey Graham. We could even talk about icons and legends such as Nasir Jones. Nas going through a situation with Khalees. Nas dating women like Nicki Minaj. Nas getting his baby mama Carmen, who you could tell is a thought even on her interviews with that white Jew Vlad. Nas is going through all this hardships with Khalees currently right now, to the point where he had to constantly vent about it and it bit him in the ass. But just like he said on a song that I do love and enjoy, Strong Will Continue, with that collaboration album with Damian Marley, Strong Will Continue, he said that he wants a woman that's a rider, but only hoes want him. And it don't even end there. Nas was on a commercial with Nicki Minaj, his ex, and Serena Williams, where he was out there just pretty much displaying those black woman is God, venerating and worshiping, pussy worshiping a woman on a recent commercial. And there was even trannies on that commercial. Very peculiar. And this is what we get in the rap game. It don't just narrow down to the likes of Drake. It don't just narrow down to all these R&B-ish, Bryson Tiller-ish type of rappers, R&B-ish rappers, whatever you want to call them. They don't just narrow down to them. And you have to think about it. When it comes to music, those are people who are creating and casting spells, and the songs that are written, no pun intended to Nas, and it was written, but and the songs that are written down and are embedded and get released to the public, and the lyrics that are saying, all the vibrations, all the frequencies, they get emitted throughout the world, and what you hear through the audio, and just the messages that transmit. And then you start to hear and see that people start to display the tendencies that get promoted within the music. So when you think about it, these dudes who promote all that symbology are nothing but warlocks. Haven't you noticed when Drake emerged in this era of hip-hop in the 2010s, or the late 2000s, you started to see a plethora of simps. Baby, you my everything, you are really money, we can do it real big face ass. And it gets even worse. When you look at the cinema aspect, you start to notice that these agendas that go on. You notice it in trailers and movies like Captain Marvel, the Marvel Universe. They're gonna show dominance of, it's basically that matriarchal shit they're releasing. I wouldn't put it past Captain Marvel if she beat down Thanos or some sort of powerful Marvel figure. Yup. What's next? They're gonna have Chun-Li be the icon of Capcom, just like how Mario is the icon for Nintendo. Or Pikachu the icon for Pokemon. But anywho, on a serious note, this is what you get. You have people out here who don't even love women. They just are brainwashed by these archetype of women who do not have any respect for masculine energy, and they try to flip it and use reverse psychology and calling it toxic masculinity. I hear that type of BS being promoted on the grapevine. I see that type of vibe and energy when I listen to stuff like All Def Digital Jam, because I listen to things for analytical purposes. And that's what I get from it. Like, that's why it's important to listen to people, even if you don't agree with their talking points, but so you can understand where they're coming from. You can see their overall angle and what their goal is ultimately. You know? But going back to what I said, this is why these thugs or Thugge and these single mothers, and especially these black single mothers, go hand in hand with one another. This is why, I'm sure this is why things like Black Lives Matter came into play. And when you see individuals get shot, and you hear incidences like the Freddie Grays of the world, you hear incidences like, who's that brother that died in 2014? Michael Brown. Well, you hear all these Black Lives Matter, and you don't hear a sound from the Tayshaun Lees being shot up back in 2015. You gotta scratch your head, you gotta raise your eyebrow and be a skeptic, you know? Because that lets you know subconsciously the veneration and the affinity that these single mothers, these black women, and these thugs going hand to hand. They're just simply following the protocols of a goddess like Kali. And if we even want to get into the etymology of words like matter, Maat, Maatter, or that's probably where it goes down to. Because if you look at it, Black Lives Matter was discovered by 3 lesbian black women and being funded by a Jew like George Soros. Gotta connect the dots, man. That's what I've been about. That's my whole MO when I make videos, man. And once you connect those dots and you start to take action, take course, things will get better. But yeah, that's my little 2 cents for now. Peace out.